Dale, Marshall. The reason why crime is down. Down by me.
It's a tough act to follow a comedian. It's tougher when he's alive because my grandfather never had any stocks. So if I was carrying out somebody's stocks, it was probably the beginning of crime. I have my iPad only because I need to be able to magnify the text. And Kevin spoke for 12 minutes. So if I hear tinky tinky tink, there are two police officers outside. I would suggest that you're not tinky tinky tink. You want to tinky tinky. Good night, everyone, and especially good night to the teachers who we also there. Good night to the new principal. I wish you every success. I want you to know that I fell in love with Julia Beckles. Unfortunately, that will not be bestowed on you. Your hair is longer, but there are some things which make it impossible. And if not impossible, impractical. Cassius asked me just to say a few words. And I immediately said yes. I honestly don't know why Cassius asked me. I hope it's not because of my parliamentary position. But I have to tell you that I came to regret saying yes so enthusiastically after listening to KB Clean and Sefton and Adelaide, because what I prepared in terms of my notes come from a different part and perhaps in part a bit of a different message. So please forgive me if I appear a bit sentimental in a few remarks that I will forgive. Kevin said I happen to give a lot of speeches. I don't get paid for them. I used to do that, and now as a politician, I probably get paid not to speak too much. But when I give those speeches, I'm always giving speeches to strangers or speeches in an environment that is choreographed or managed. And by virtue of the office that I happen to hold for the time being, they tend to be very deferential. But there's a big difference in this gathering. And I believe it is because all of us walked into Combermere School the same day 50 years ago. Except for David Jean-Marie and Dave Bain, all of us were small. Dave Bain and David Jean-Marie were the two biggest boys I had ever seen in my life. Livingston was just tall and lanky, but he was not so menacing as those two. And we were, I think you admit it, we were quite small. But we were also, in many ways, quite afraid. We were taking the first steps, some better clad than others, in a place that was new and in many respects, quite scary for, I think, all of us. St. Matthew's. St. Matthew's School probably would fit in this room. Yes. St. George's Boys School would fit in this room. Combermere School was the biggest building and complex that most of us had ever walked into intentionally, as opposed to the QEH railway. Over the years, we watched each other grow, some more than others, some in other directions. We watched each other sometimes fail, sometimes fall. We watched each other sometimes cry. We've seen each other at our lowest and we've seen each other at our best. And I certainly remember being seen at my lowest and at a very public happening at school, being on the cricket field on start. Can they tell my story? Being on the cricket field, my friends know that I was never a sports person, still am not. And I was daydreaming. And I heard somebody holler, "Marshall, look out!" And instinctively when somebody tells you about how you look. And well, that event has provided a source of much mirth, as you can tell, among my many school friends. And even now, 50 years later, they still talk about how the cricket ball struck me in my left eye, knocked my glasses into the air. They recite how he reached up in slow motion and snatched the glasses out of the air and took off running to Combermere's office, hollering out, call me. And as you can tell, this is still for them a very funny show. And over the years, I've even learned how to laugh with them. My friend Kurt Tate, by the way, was the batsman. For his sins, 4 years ago, I invited Kurt to be the director of the Financial Intelligence Unit in my ministry. Forgiveness is a good thing. Kurt was just off publishing his book on money laundering, and he readily accepted this role. And the country has seen the tremendous benefits of our collaboration when Barbados got off the FATF grey list early this year. I believe that he dealt with the FATF the way he dealt with that hard ball in my eye. Those 50 years have seen us grow from boys to fathers. We've had our ups and our downs, our disappointments and our celebrations, but those early years created a bond of a fraternal nature that has not only brought us here tonight, but eventually a bond that can never be broken. So the reason I regret it is because I don't know what I can say to my brothers, and I propose just to say a few things in the presence of my brothers. A hard task, but I'll try for just a few minutes. First of all, we must count ourselves lucky, and echoing what Andrew said, we must count ourselves lucky that we are still here. We've had our wall showing those of us who've fallen. We remember them, but we're not among them. We who are still here have a precious thing called tomorrow. Tomorrow in which we can still do the things that are beckoning us. A very successful Barbadian attorney had his office in Bridgetown, just off Lower Broad Street. And as he went to and from his office, he would look up towards the carenage and see the catamarans filled with people going out and coming in and people partying and so on. He never took any of those catamaran cruises. He was too busy. He died of cancer about 15 years ago, and just a few days before he died, he lamented to one of his friends that the one thing he regretted with all of his money and all of his success was that he never stopped to take a catamaran ride. I don't know what that catamaran ride would look like for you, each of you, but I ask my brothers to stop what you're doing and go cruising. We who are here still have tomorrows in which we have a chance to help someone along the way, even if only with words of encouragement. One of the things about being a Combermerian was that we always knew that we belonged to a family. Some quite erroneously call us a cult. They mistake commitment and loyalty for indoctrination. And for as long as they cannot tell the difference, they will never understand why we are the way we are. We are a family that looks to uplift and provide opportunities for our own when we can. How many of us know of Combermerians who reached out to hire other Combermerians when they left school? I do. I was hired by a Combermerian named George Payne, and we in turn hired other Combermerians into our law firm with great pride. Never any guarantees that it will work out, but being in this family always made a difference to us. Even now as I serve in this office, I look out for other Combermerians, not Kirk. Kirk is in a class of his own, wherever possible. I don't suggest that we be insular. We have to lend a hand to everyone by helping another Combermerian along wherever you can. We who are here still have tomorrow to be used for the benefit of another generation. We all have children. The world is still a wonderful place, but there is cruelty and selfishness. A lot of it is personal, but these attitudes are also seen in how callously we treat our environment without regard for those who have to live in it after we turn to dust. How we pull our institutions without regard for those who must follow. How we treat others unkindly, forgetting that hurt people hurt people. We're just the custodians of what is among us, what is around us. We're the custodians of Barbados, but it is not ours. We have tomorrows to be used to benefit a future generation. So finish. We who are here have tomorrows to fulfill the dreams of the generation past. I didn't take up my grandfather's lifestyle, but they helped him with his carpentry box. Our foreparents did not live any glamorous lives. Theirs, I suspect, was always a humble existence, but an existence driven by a single goal to ensure that their children would be better off than they were, that we who are here could live the lives that their circumstances would not allow, that we could see the things about which they could only dream. Sefton, you live in Colorado. I don't think your parents ever had a thought of visiting a place so far and so beautiful. We do the things now about which they could only dream. We place our footsteps in places that they would never see. But that was their mission, and it was one on which they succeeded. What is our mission? It must now be our mission in however many tomorrows we have left, and one that we should embrace, that we do for those to come what was done for us. So I will not trespass on your patience or your tolerance. Coming close to the end. We acknowledge those of our classmates who are no longer here. Some of our teachers are also no longer with us. But those of you who are with us tonight, I hope that you are brimming with pride at what we have become. I know that sometimes you felt that we would never amount to nothing. But we have become that most important thing of all, something that cannot be counted in dollars or property. We've become good men. Men who, by our living, are a credit to Combermere School and a credit to your efforts. I thank you for joining us as we celebrate 50 years since entering Combermere School, even though this event now ages you incredibly. As however old you were in 1974, we now add 50. I hope that Combermere School today is possessed of teachers like you, who care for today's students in the way you cared for us. In law, you were what we call in loco parentis. In life, you were so much more. We are because you were. Cassius, I apologize for being so sentimental. So when we meet in another 50 years, please find somebody else to fulfill this role.